We're
6
still
feet
in
apart.
mask and gloves this
And
time.
gloves. Thank you for wearing your gloves. I
And
appreciate it.
We're going to be, 3 more months probably like this.
Well, we're in LA County, so that's the room where we have to go to, what,
Yeah.
July or August?
Through August, yeah.
Really?
So, and then all Cal State universities aren't going to be holding in-session classes. Yeah, no, it's just bad. And it's, everybody's getting fed up and tired and they want to go out and do things. But, we wwere talking earlier about just how maybe you don't care, but care about the next person.
Right.
That, maybe they have something that, you're not aware that they have. And so you just have to be conscientious and considerate. And
because you still could be carrying the virus yourself and don't pass it on to older people.
Yeah.
Not my age, but older, a little older maybe.
Older.
So any other exciting things going on?
Nope.
Come on. Any music, fun stuff, anything? I don't know.
I did get my, I think I told you I had Eagles tickets for the show that was supposed to be in April, and then they moved it to October, and then they sent out a thing for refund, so I went to do that, and then the next day they said that they've extended the tour, so it's going to be happening in 2021 now. So I know we were going to go to Roger Waters, and I think that they've canceled that, but I haven't heard anything about refund of tickets or whatever.
I thought that got postponed to 2021. Roger.
I think it did on his website. I saw that, but it's through Access or something like that.
Wait, did you get a refund for your tickets?
No.
For your Eagles tickets?
No.
Oh, so yours are still good.
So I tried to, and then I'm sure it's the thing that people are experiencing now, whether you're trying to apply for a loan, a business loan, or if you're trying to get unemployment or whatever, it's just like you go to the website and it's circling.
Nothing
so,
happens.
Yeah. So.
Well, plus, here's the thing that pisses me off about the ticket thing is like if you get a refund, you still lose that 35% Ticketmaster charge.
Yeah.
So if you spent $200, you're still losing, what, $60, $70 because you got a refund. So to me, it's like when Roger was saying he's going to cancel, I'm like, no, don't cancel. Just postpone.
Yeah.
Because I'll wait so I don't have to lose it and then get in line to try to buy tickets again.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, live shows. I don't know when. It's going to be a while.
So anyway, speaking of almost live, that's us. We're not really live, but we have some great shows, and we have another great one here.
I'm really excited about this one. It's Cherie Currie. Cherie of Runaways fame.
Yeah.
She has an album out that was produced by Matt Sorum of Guns N' Roses. And did an excellent job, and she's just very fun and vivacious. And I'd never met her, and she'd never met me, but we had a nice dialogue. And
she really knew you and respected you, and like she was excited to talk to you.
Yeah.
Reeds.
No, I mean that was really cool, and it's
that's cool.
No, it's cool, and it was an amazing boost for my ego. To be honest, it needed it. So she's got this new album out called Blvds of Splendor, and she's going to be our first female guest on Rock and Roll Confessional.
Yay.
So I'm very excited about that.
I'm very excited about that too. And our first
one that we had to do with not meeting the person.
Right. We had to do it over the phone, and it was very difficult. We had to use a conference call, so don't look for great quality here, but just look for content because it's still some great content. And but we'll talk more about that in a second. Wanted to especially thank those that listen, of course, on Apple Podcasts /iTunes. If you like what you hear, we're always asking that you please subscribe to us, rate us, write a review, even forward us through Facebook and share us because we always need the help. Every review helps us move up to the top of the rock podcast charts. Plus, of course, our ego is stroked by all the good reviews. So we always read our reviews and we try to pick a nice one. So this one is by Want to Leave Review 2.
Hi there, Want to Leave Review 2. What did Want to
Leave Review 2 as a number 2 says, great show. I thoroughly enjoyed listening to the 2-part interview with Kip Lennon. CW and Reed are extraordinary hosts in that they already know so much about music. They've done their research about their guests, and they allow their guests to speak without interruption. And they're real enough to geek out about other musicians who come up in the guest stories. This podcast is a must. Good God. I'm such a professional. This podcast must live on, and I will donate today to support its longevity. Great job.
Hey, thank you so much. Want to leave review too. That was very nice of you.
Yeah.
We are sending big virus-free hugs to Patreon supporters. We welcome a few new supporters. Jessica Dunis.
Dunis?
Jessica.
Thank you, Jessica.
Play
we need
Bunny.
to give you a big thank you. Thank you, Jessica.
Play Bunny. Do you remember her from Jim Ladd's tribe?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's her.
I'm
Jessica.
a tribe person too, you
Thank
know.
you.
I'm a part of the tribe.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And Bill Holman. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
Very kind of you. Thank you and our other rock stars, roadies, groupies for all your support. This month you are helping with additional equipment so we can record remotely during the pandemic.
Yes, more equipment. It's like I keep buying it and keep returning it. Keep buying it, keep returning it, keep trying it. But
times are tough right now. We're still bringing you some exciting, entertaining episodes. So please make a pledge on Patreon for as little as $1 a month. You become one of our supporters. Thank you for your help.
Thank you.
We will keep this podcast rocking and keep the stories alive.
So this is a very special episode. As Rita said earlier, it is our first female, and we thank you for that, Cherie, and our first quarantined recorded show. We thank freeconferencecall.com for that. This episode, we are speaking with the original lead singer of the Runaways, Cherie Currie. Cherie has a new album. It's titled Blvds of Splendor, which is an amazing album, and it's doing so well on the charts. We keep seeing posts about it, and so we congratulate
Very happy for her.
Her and Matt Sorum, who produced it. She tells us the stories of writing some of the songs with the guest artists that helped make the album, including who, Rita?
Slash.
Who else?
Duff.
Who else?
Billy Corgan.
Along with producer, of course, Matt Sorum. Cherie dives into the past and talks about her time with the Runaways and what she's up to now, carving wood with a chainsaw.
Plus, Cherie has a very interesting answer for the bonus round question. Tell us about your worst Spinal Tap experience. It's a good one.
She's got a really good one for that one. So,
enjoy.
Buckle up, enjoy, and there you go.
Cherie Currie.
Okay, hi Cherie, it's CW.
CW, it's so good to talk to you. And Rita Wild, are you kidding me?
I'm talking to you, girl. Come on.
Are you kidding me? I literally geeked out when.
Oh my God, that's so cool! Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to talk with you.
I've listened to you forever on KLOS too. I mean, I'm a huge fan, and thank you so much for everything that you've done for music. Really?
Well, thank you. That's very kind of you to say, but thank you for everything that you've done for music, and we got to talk about this awesome new record. But first of all, it's called Rock and Roll Confessional, and you've lived quite the life, girl. So is there something that you would like to confess that you haven't confessed in your book or your songs? Or?
Oh, my gosh. I think I'm actually doing the audio version of my book right now, and I'd forgotten a lot of the stuff I'd confessed to. Honestly, it's shocking, I'll tell you. It's shocking.
When can we expect that out?
Well, I'm right on chapter 10 right now, and I know it's going to be at least 40 hours of audio. I think as soon as I wrap this up, which is going to take me about another couple of weeks, because it's gut-wrenching doing this audio book. I kind of, when I finish, it's 364 pages, first of all, and they're not spaced out. This is a tight book, and it's got extra chapters as well that was added on the paperback after the hard copy had come out. So this, I would imagine, as soon as I finish it, they're waiting on it. But I had to literally take 3 days off from recording because it's really shocking to me that not only did I write this stuff down and confess to this stuff, but really how hard it was for me to come to grips with it now as an adult, because I'm reading it fresh, you know? So,
and is there an opportunity to put music into this at all, Cherie?
I don't know what the book company plans to do, but I did have to reach out to my neighbor, Scott Waters, who's my neighbor next door, and I said, if you hear screaming and crying, please do not call the police.
It's just more therapy for you.
I'm just doing my audio book, Scott.
So many things to talk about, but I know you want to talk about the release of your new album, Blvds of Splendor. Congratulations on this album. It sounds fantastic.
It really is, Rita. You know, CW, this is the album I always wanted to make when I left the Runaways, but it never happened. And it was such a fluke that Matt Sorum would get involved with me just to open for Joan Jett in 2010 at the Pacific Amphitheater in Orange County. And that was how it all happened, is a miracle, very much like everything else in my life, it seems. But this record is everything I've always wanted to make. And if I never make another record as long as I live, I'm good with that now, because I've got a record that I'm so proud of start to finish that kicks butt. It's fantastic, and I haven't listened to this record in 8 years.
Is it a therapeutic album? And I say that because I listened to, like, Mr. X, and it seems like, okay, that's kind of your life at the beginning of the Runaways. And then there's You Wreck Me, which could be used for a few people that you've dealt with in your life. And then Forced to Be Reckoned kind of seems like it's something you've now grown and overcome all that past.
Well, okay. Well, I'll explain that You Wreck Me I wrote in 20 minutes when we were recording the record because I had a relationship that ended. Right, and I just wrote that song in 20 minutes, and I called Matt, and I sang it to him over the phone. He goes, "Get in here."
Yeah.
And so that's the real deal. Mr. X was written by Slash and Duff, Matt Sorum for Velvet Revolver, and then their band it kind of disintegrated. So that was a song that the three of them had written, and Matt reached out to Slash and Duff and asked if it would be okay for me to record it, and I just love that song.
Yeah, it sounds phenomenal.
It's a killer rock tune.
Mm-hmm.
What was the other song? Oh, Forced to Be Reckoned With. That was Holly Knight and my son Jake Hayes wrote that, but Holly and I kind of got into a little bit of a spat at her home when we were writing. She had brought another writer in that wasn't exactly giving my son the credit that he deserved. And he was basically stealing my son's song out from underneath him. And me and Holly had a go. Let's just say that. We had a go. And he turned around and said, "Cherie, you're a force to be reckoned with." And Jake turned around and says, "That's the song we're going to write." And Holly said, "Yep, that's the song we're going to write." And she and Jake wrote that song.
God, wow. Excellent. Your voice sounds awesome. It's really strong, really confident. You know, and if you take too much time off, sometimes you kind of lose that. So I'm very impressed that you've got that vocal range. You know, just it's awesome.
Well, you know, Rita, I couldn't sing to save my life in the Runaways. I really didn't know how to sing. Also, as kids, we were so young, and our voices were changing when we started the Runaways. When I was in the Runaways, I whispered all the time when I did interviews. Now I'm a very boisterous person. I don't know what happened. Maybe it was writing my books. I don't know. That just kind of uncorked that bottle of 60-year-old champagne or whatever. I don't know. But the thing is I also talk very much with a melody, I guess. And so even though I never sing, and I mean I never sing, ever, unless I'm asked to sing. But I think when I speak or whatever, I kind of do warm-ups just by talking. I have no idea, but I will say working with Matt Sorum was so special to me because he's the first producer that didn't want me to be different. I will say that Kim Fowley didn't expect me to do anything different because I'd never performed or sang before until I sang with Runaways. So, but every other producer I'd ever worked with always wanted me to either tone down my vibrato or something else. And Matt didn't ever ask me to be different. In fact, he encouraged me to be who I was. And I didn't really know who I was even at 50. So I thank him for that very much.
And you started this album 10 years ago, correct?
Right.
There's obviously a little bit of time delay in the release, so we're just kind of wondering what took so long.
Well, you know, Kenny was my manager at the time. He was, of course, he and Joan are on the road always and have been for the last 40 years. And so when me and Matt finished the record, Kenny wanted to add a couple more songs, which he did, like Dragging the Line and What Do All the People Know. So we went into the studio for that. But I also wanted Tom Panunzio to throw his 2 cents into the mixing, because he has quite a track record of getting such a good sound as well. And I knew that this record really deserved that. Of course, every time you ask for something like that, it delays the record from coming out. But then all of a sudden, the record just got shelved. That really hurt. That hurt a lot, because I knew I loved the record. But I'll tell you, I didn't love the record as much as I love it today, which, you really appreciate it when it's something that broke your heart to a gazillion pieces. When it wasn't, I didn't think it was ever going to come out. And it's kind of funny because it goes from breaking my heart to my jaw hitting the ground when I hear it now. And it's such a relief that it's finally out.
It's a great piece of work, and there's a lot of nice cover tunes that you did, Dragging the Line, The Air That I Breathe, and even Roxy Roller, which was, Nick Gilder from how many years ago?
Yeah, that was back in my Runaways days.
Yeah.
Is that your son playing guitar on that track?
Yes. Yeah, and Nick Mayberry, who has been with me ever since Matt put us together to open for Joan. Nick has been on every tour I've ever done except for 2, and he's just really one of the most remarkable guitar players ever.
You've been blessed with, I think a wonderful sense of timing. I don't know if it was wonderful when you look back on all of it, but the bravado that you had, to walk in that club and they saw you and said, "We want you to be our singer." And yeah, sure, I'll be the singer. I mean, what kind of cojones did the 15-year-old Cherie have?
Well, I'd gone through a rape very early on, so that had kind of hardened me a bit from being the long-haired surfer girl twin that I was. I was the runt of our twinhood. My sister was the popular one. I was the littler one and kind of the runty one. Then I went and saw the David Bowie concert, the Diamond Dogs tour at the Universal Amphitheater, and I was just in the right frame of mind to know that that was something I wanted to do. It was truly like the sky opened and lightning came down and hit me with that bug that I wanted to be a performer, a singer. So when Joan and Kim approached me at the Sugar Shack, I was ready. I was ready. Even though I'd never sang on a stage before, I'd never even sang, besides singing at the Koalas Club with my father and my twin sister, doing Dean Martin songs. Okay, I was completely unprepared. So, when I went in to do Cherry Bomb, that was really my first time ever in a studio, and I was so fearful and so insecure that Kim made the engineer put a regular mic in there that I would hold in my hand, and he turned out all the lights and let me pretend I was performing on stage. That was the only way I could sing that song, because I was so horrified.
That just shows that you had that inner quality, inside to, take that star and make her a star. But, that comes with its consequences as well. And I'm sure that's kind of like what happened with, the train running off the track, so to say.
Oh, of course. Well, yeah, and, the time that this all happened was the 70s, when if you didn't do drugs, people thought you were weird. It just happened. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So, it was cocaine and Quaaludes and Tuinol, Seconals, Placidils. Drinking wasn't a thing. I mean, people didn't really drink back then. We were all pill-popping, snorting fiends. And that's just what would seem to be normal. I mean, Elton John was doing it. Bowie was doing it. Jagger was doing it. Alice Cooper, who helped the Runaways get our record deal with Mercury, basically was such a huge support, was an alcoholic and a drug user at the time. It's just we are around it all the time. And you look at Alice today, and I mean, he's been clean and sober for many, many, many decades. So we do survive, crazy enough.
And you're clean and sober, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
For, 20 years?
No. I actually, after I'd fallen on my accident, carving, I really kind of went to a dark place. And I never really thought I was an alcoholic, to be honest. But, boy, I found out really super fast that I was. And because after that fall, and the left side of my face was paralyzed, and I kind of really thought that my life was over. And, when we start feeling sorry for ourselves, boy, a lot of bad things, thoughts and doors seem to open, and that's what happened for me. So I took a good solid year to get my head out of my, and realizing that I was going nowhere but down fast. So I had to clean up my act, which I did do again, which we do. Anybody that's got this disease, it's a never-ending disease. It's not going to ever go away. So it's something that you have to be mindful of all the time.
Sure. Did you become a drug counselor also?
I was a drug counselor for teens back in the 80s. I started out as a tech at Coldwater Canyon Hospital, and then decided I wanted to take it further and became a drug counselor.
Well, that's remarkable stuff, and I'm so happy for you that, you found your way back, and you found out, who you really are, and that's a really incredible, strong woman with a lot to say. I know that one of your hobbies, or not even a hobby, your other side project is chainsaw artist.
Yeah, in fact, if it wasn't for that chainsaw, I wouldn't have a roof over my head. I mean, I've been a professional carver now for 19, going on 20 years. That's the reason why I have this house. So when I met with Matt Sorum, I'm just a chainsaw carver from the valley that they just happen to be making a movie about, is the way it really is. And so all these wonderful people that showed up to work on Blvds of Splendor was all because of Matt and his friendship with them, and the fact that they really appreciated what I'd done as a kid. And for that, I am forever grateful, because I honestly didn't really, I thought the Runaways had all been but forgotten. What a pleasant surprise to know that all that hell we went through was not for nothing.
Do you think the Runaways are more popular now than they were when you were in the band, when the band was together?
I think we definitely... we were so young. The fans that we had all the way back then, definitely, they're still around. They never let go, just like I never let go of, Bowie and Suzi Quatro and Elton John and Alice Cooper and all the other multitude of incredible talent growing up. So a lot of these people have still stayed with us all these years. And then the movie opened up a whole new generation of fans. So, and social media also. It's just a different world than it was in the 70s, for sure.
So were you happy with the Runaways movie and how you were portrayed? Because that was basically taken from your book, almost, wasn't it?
Well, when you say almost, Rita, you're right. It was almost taken. It was taken from the book, but it was changed around. And, of course, they can take license for the end result. It's not going to be like I'm going to turn around and say, oh, my God, that was so wrong. But they did change the timeline on a lot of things. The corset, all of a sudden, I'm wearing the corset in Japan. But I bought that corset back when I was playing at the Starwood with the Runaways, and I thought it would be perfect for Cherry Bomb. That was something that I came up with early on. So they did take some creative liberty. But, my God, Dakota Fanning, one of my favorite actors of all time, shocking to me that
That's pretty cool.
When she was hired to do this, she would still look the same way as she did in War of the Worlds, I'll tell you that much, because she came to watch me play. And I saw that she had 101 fever, but she wasn't going to miss me singing Cherry Bomb at the Roxy. And she's with her folks, and she looks like she's fresh off the set of War of the Worlds. And I thought, how is this ever going to work? And she was 14 years old.
Wow.
And then when I saw her when she was 15, getting ready to turn 16, I couldn't believe how she'd grown up. And she was the same age I was when I joined the Runaways. It was perfect timing. And Kristen Stewart was amazing as Joan, and Michael Shannon was just incredible as Kim Fowley.
Yeah, Michael's crazy good at everything he does.
Then I got to sit and have dinner with him at times, when we were all getting together for different PR projects. And he's a fascinating man. Fascinating just to listen to his stories. So I'm very blessed that I got to spend time with these wonderful artists.
The name of the album is Blvds of Splendor, and that was, I believe, written completely by Billy Corgan?
Yeah.
How is it that you came about working with him, that he was willing to give you the song? And when you go in to record it, how do you decide who plays what and who sings what? Or is that already pre-mapped out?
No. Billy came to the studio. We met. He says, I'm going to write a song for us. I said, great. And he wrote the song and then came in and sang it for us. And I was, of course, I really kind of feel like I should be one of those little wobblies so you don't fall down type of people, because I literally felt like I was going to fall out of my chair again when he sang that song. And he wrote it for us to do, only for this project and for me and him to do as a duet.
It's a great song, and you can definitely hear his input into the song, not only vocals but musically. He
played about every instrument on that. And wow. It's so funny because I just watched him on Breaking the Band, because I was a big fan of the Smashing Pumpkins, but until I met him, and he was such a good person. I mean, really, honestly, giving and generous of his time. Even after the record, he worked on another song with me and Jake via video. He would come up with ideas and send us the video. I mean, really, who does that? And then I see him in Breaking the Band, and, he has a different reputation to some people. But to me, nothing but one of the most giving, generous people in the business, as well as just about everybody else that worked on this record.
How is your life in the pandemic?
My life is great, Rita. I've always been a loner as it is. And in fact, my son, Jake Hayes, he's our kid, Robert Hayes, the actor, we had Jake. He's 29 now, but they lost their home in the Woolsey fire. Jake and Bob had a house on Malibu Lake. So I've been living alone for 20 years, basically. Well, it's actually 15. When Jake left to go to live with Bob because it was a better school. Agora was a far better high school than the school around my house. So now Jake's moved home after he was out for a year after they lost their home. And so I've got my kid back. So that's pretty neat.
And he's all into music. I mean, he helped build your studio in your house and
played on the album?
It was always his studio. Jake is just remarkable. Yeah, I never had a studio. Jake did have a studio, and he plays a ton of different instruments, and he's a fantastic producer and great songwriter. So I've got Jake now here, and it's terrific to have my kid because with this audio book, he built a little sound room in my living room so that he could continue to do his music in his studio as well. He's just so crafty and nifty like his dad, like Robert Hayes is. So I'm not lonely. I'll tell you that. I'm not lonely.
What about touring? Because you've got such great music here. I'm sure there's a part of you that wants to go back out on the road.
Well, I do. I just got off the road with Bree Darling. We made a record called The Motivator that came out. Last year in December, we did our last show for that. I didn't expect this record to come out. This was a very last-minute decision on Blackheart's part. I did tour on this record, believe it or not, back in 2014 when I just got frustrated enough that this record was never going to come out. I was going to try to force it out by going on tour, but that didn't work. But I will tell you that it will certainly be fun to perform the songs and the people in the audience actually know the songs because it's doing very well right now and people are loving this record. And that is everything to me. And if I never make another record after this, I'm fine with that because this is the record I always wanted to make from the time I left the Runaways. So I am one blessed human being.
I love that. What would yourself nowadays say to that 15-year-old, 16-year-old girl out on the road? What would you say? I mean, just in looking back and looking at kids now that are, the same way, 14, 15, 16, and just what advice would you give them?
My advice would be, first of all, do not ask anyone's opinion because you have your own path. You have your path alone. No one can walk that path with you. You have to understand that. So when you ask other people their opinions, they're not on this planet to do what you're supposed to do, so they're never going to be able to give you the right advice. So never ask an opinion. Go with that voice in your head, because that voice will never steer you wrong. It's when you don't listen to that voice is always when you go, darn, I knew I was supposed to turn left, or I knew I wasn't. It's the voice that's guiding you, and we all have a purpose here on earth. So the thing is just believe in yourself. Believe in that voice, and never, ever, ever take anyone's advice, because it's never going to be the right one for you.
Love that. I have one other question. I know CW has some quick questions for you, and the question is, you actually have a Janis Joplin bracelet. Is that true? I
do. Yes, I do.
Wow.
Can you hold it up to the phone?
Bracelet? Yeah, can we see it?
Yeah, it's a little leather one with little roses that have been stamped on it. This was a gift by someone, a good friend of mine, many, many, many years ago, and I've cherished that.
I love that.
All these years.
That's amazing. Okay, Cherie, it's time for our bonus round, which is quick and fast and furious questions. They're out of the blue. It should be easy. If Carol Merrill was here, she might award you a monkey if you answered them correctly. So here they go. What was your first concert you went to?
David Bowie's Diamond Dogs concert, Universal Amphitheater.
Wow. I can't imagine how cool that would have been to see.
It was remarkable.
Yeah. What was your favorite concert you attended or played at?
That I attended would still be David Bowie's Diamond Dogs. Never seen anything like it since.
God, and that was your first. Who would you want to meet that you've never met?
Ooh. I've met everybody.
You met everybody?
Yeah. I'm thinking.
You must have a large Christmas card list.
I'm just thinking. I think I've met everybody that I've ever really wanted to meet. Well, Rita, I want to meet you. And
I want to meet you.
I want to meet you.
I want to meet you too. So let's
do it.
I can't wait until we have that opportunity when you're playing live somewhere and so forth. That's going to be great. Or maybe you show some of your art. Do you have a website where people can check out your chainsaw art?
I do, and that would be Chainsaw Chick, CHICK.com, and it's a very vast old site. But if you click on the new feature camera, I'm standing next to an 8-foot praying woman in a sarong that I carved. There's a little camera icon that says new feature. Click on that. It'll take you to just albums of my newer work, and I kind of show you start to finish how I do it.
And are you selling your artwork?
I now only do special orders. People say, "Do you carve this for me?" I say yes, and I carve it and I ship it out.
Wow, that's amazing.
I love that.
Okay, and the last question is, do you have a special Spinal Tap moment, something crazy that happened on tour, in your music career?
Well, I was in the movie Spinal Tap, you know.
Really?
Do refresh me.
I was the girl that gave all the guys herpes on their mouths, but I had to be cut out because the movie was 4.5 hours long, and Bob Reiner on Whoopi Goldberg's show said that it was the most heartbreaking thing to cut me out because I was their opening band in the movie.
I forgot.
And that was the funny part is I had a big herpes sore, my character, on her mouth, and then as each scene seems to go by, each one of the band members in Spinal Tap has a herpes sore. So those are fun. That's just a little bit of trivia for you guys, you know?
I love that.
That's beautiful. That's great.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I'm just so impressed with this album and your attitude, and I wish you the best of luck with this. We're going to push this a lot to make sure that people know about your album, Blvds of Splendor. It's really, really good, and you should just feel awesome about that.
Well, let me tell you, Rita, I am such a huge fan of yours. I mean, literally, when Ken said I was going to be talking to you, I guess they call it geeking out. I geeked out because
I'm
been
impressed.
in my life for a long time, and I just so appreciate everything. I mean, you're like one of the original, chicks that went out there in a male-dominated world, and KLOS of all places.
Exactly.
I tip my hat to you. You went through the same stuff I did, and what an honor it is to speak to you. And CW, you are a sweetheart, and thank you for your time. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Cherie. And, I've worked with Rita for 30-plus years, and you are correct. She is an amazing woman, and I love her dearly. So hopefully we can all meet up at one of your shows in the future.
Are you kidding me? I'm going to make sure it happens, because I got to see this woman in the flesh. I just got to. I've listened to you all my life. I've got to meet you. So you are the person I want to meet.
Well, you're the person I want to meet, and we're going to make sure that happens this year.
I want to chainsaw carve with you. I tiki carve, but I don't do it with chainsaws. I do it with a mallet and chisels.
Well, I tip my hat to you, especially because I just do not have the patience for that. I have to do it quick, and a chainsaw is the fastest wood removal tool there is. But I really think what you do to be able to do it with a mallet and chisels just blows my mind. I really think that's incredible, CW. Good for you.
Well, thank you again, and all the best of luck, and we hope to see you soon.
Terrific. I'd love that. We do have to do a carving together. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Cherie.
Thanks, CW. Okay. Bye-bye now.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
What a lovely person.
I wrote Ken Phillips, and I just said how professional she sounded. And even though we had never met, she knew you. She didn't know me, but she acted like she knew me. And it was like amazing to have such an intelligent conversation with her. And she was just so down to earth and warm hearted and made our interview sound like it was her first interview.
Yeah. That's a thing that, she wasn't jaded with the questions that we asked and having to talk about different things again. And that's what makes it special, for us and for the listeners. Special thanks today to Cherie Currie for the great phone call. What a lovely person. You can follow Cherie on Instagram or Facebook or at Cherie Currie Official. Her websites are CherieCurrie.com or ChainsawChick.com. That's got to be incredible. And we didn't even really get into the accident that she had when she was chainsawing.
Yeah, she was carving, I think, 4 years ago, and she fell and really hurt herself, and it just had to put more time out to put this album. But
it's a really terrific record, and I think you'll really like it. So don't forget Cherie's new album, Blvds of Splendor, available where you find digital downloads. By the way, most record stores have digital downloads you can order on their website. I love that. So give them the profit by downloading from them.
Check out our show notes under each show title on our website, rockandrollconfessional.rocks. There you'll find links to videos and other subjects that might have been brought up in today's show.
Special thanks to Ken Phillips for coordinating the interview.
Thank you, Ken.
Very professional job. We appreciate it. And we have some really great shows coming up in the future.
And make sure you please check out our website, again, rockandrollconfessional.rocks. And like us, share us, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So leave us with something positive, Reeds.
Well, I got to dig deep, man.
Do you have a trivia or anything? Anything new or something exciting to tell us? Like
Bono's just turned 60, so happy birthday, Bono.
60 songs in 60 days or something.
And it was like, really songs that impacted him, and he wrote stories about every one of them, why it impacted him.
He wrote letters to all the people or relatives, which I thought was interesting.
I love that,
really cool.
With Billie Eilish, and Phineas, and contacted them. And
Clannad.
Oh, God, I love
Remember
Clannad.
them?
Oh, my God.
Does anybody remember Clannad?
Oh, they were supposed to do that whole tour this year. Oh, we got some good stuff coming up, though. So thank you all very much. Times are tough. Sometimes you just got to reach down and just make sure that you plow through another day, do it. One day we'll look at this and say, man, we survived it. We survived it. But you're not alone in any of your thoughts. If you are really down and desperate, then make sure that you talk to somebody and communicate. And, you're important. And, you're not alone.
Wow, that's nicely said.
All right.
Wow, I can't even laugh at anything you just said.
Damn it.
All right.
I tell you my duck story? No.
No, not that I'll laugh at. Well, not really. It's depressing. All right, everybody. Until next time. Have a nice life and stay safe. Bye.